How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
Good morning, Will. How are you?
Morning. Sleepy.
Trying to get through these technical difficulties, man.
Yeah. It's been crazy.
We're still getting
But we're
used to
good
this
now.
new app. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're good now. That's the important part, right?
That's all that matters.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to another week of Story of the Fight. My name is Romero. That's my boy Will. He waved at everybody for anybody that's not watching. But yeah, this is where we cover everything mixed martial arts, combat sports, mainly UFC. You know, sometimes some Ryzen and stuff like that, depending on Will's mood in the event. But yeah, if you like our content, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You can also find us on Spotify, Breaker, Podcast Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcast, Anchor FM, all those different podcasting sites.
Yeah. We're also on social media at Story of the Fight on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, everything.
Everything. We're going to start doing Twitch soon, I think.
I think so. Gotta figure out
so.
when we're going to do that.
Maybe let's figure out this app first, huh?
Next pay-per-view, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. But so we usually do fight recaps. And if it's not fight recaps that you like to tune into, sometimes we'll do a fight companion. Sometimes we'll just cover, some random stuff. But usually, if there's another week of Story of the Fight, it usually means there was another week of fights, Will.
And there was.
UFC Vegas 58, right?
Yeah.
This was Fiziev versus RDA Rafael Dos Anjos, who I always enjoy watching fight. Always.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, dude's been around for. I remember one time I bought Lesnar versus Randy on DVD.
Oh shit!
But it was like Ultimate Knockouts, and they were trying to hype Brock Lesnar at that point, obviously. And I was like, all right, yeah, he knocked out Randy Couture, but Randy Couture is also like a 50-year-old light heavyweight. But
yeah.
But I remember on that, it was a long time ago. Obviously, I think it was probably like 2009. On that same DVD was when Jeremy Stevens knocked out RDA with an uppercut. And then here we are, and RDA's in the top 10, and Jeremy Stevens is losing in PFL.
The heathen. Yes.
Little heathen.
But let's go and get started here with the main event.
Yeah.
We had Rafael Fiziev versus Rafael Dos Anjos. Emphasis.
Loser has to change their name.
Rafael. Yeah. So now it's Rafael Dos Anjos.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what do you think of this fight, Will?
It was a very good benchmark, I think, for Fiziev, because going into this, there's a lot of questions still. Kind of like, obviously he's a very good striker, but the two biggest questions are like, what's his gas tank like in a 5-round fight, and how's he going to deal with someone who has not just like good wrestling and grappling, but someone who has, won a belt with good grappling, and I think he passed them pretty well. He passed both tests pretty well.
Yeah, he absolutely did, man. I had picked RDA, Rafael Dos Anjos, going into this, because I just always figured, man, like he just always finds a way. He's a very gritty fighter. Yeah. He's an excellent grappler. He has high cardio. Like you said, 5-round fight. He tends to turn it up on the 4th and 5th round. Hadn't seen Rafael Fiziev in that situation yet. So I said, you know what? Let me go with what I know, and that's RDA. He had beat Paul Felder. He beat Moicano. So he was on a little 2-fight winning streak. He was a previous champion. So I figured, you know what? He might be able to give Fiziev something that he hasn't seen before. What I was not expecting was Fiziev's fantastic takedown defense, man. Over 90% success rate in preventing the takedown, his sprawling, and then his urgency around getting the underhooks, man. Like right away, he would still be in sprawling position. He reached for the underhook, and as he's standing up, he's pulling RDA up at the exact same time. He just did such a fantastic job with him, and I truly believe that was the biggest difference maker.
Yeah, because I mean, you could tell. I mean, RDA's game plan was clearly use the hands to set up the takedown, put this guy on his back. We haven't seen him on his back. Put him down, and he kept trying. I mean, he got 2 takedowns throughout the whole fight, but obviously that first one he kind of just sat it down real quick, and then Fiziev was right back up. Still counts, but not really. It doesn't have much weight to it. The second takedown was much bigger. Ended the round on top. Had a decent minute or 2 of control time, but couldn't do anything with it. The entire time he spent on top was to just keep him in position. He couldn't really advance. He couldn't land anything of his own. Just kind of held him there. But then there was 14 other takedowns that were stuffed. That's wild against RDA.
That's insane, man. Against RDA, and you know what? It's a good game plan from RDA. Going up against
that's what I would.
That's what you're gonna want to do.
Yeah, obviously you don't want to stand with them because look what happens. Here we have a picture of RDA getting knocked out.
He's like, I'm training in Brazil again. This guy's training in Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand. How much is he really working on his? No man's land for USADA for sure. But I mean, for me, I was thinking about. I was like, well, that's what you would want to do if you're RDA. You're gonna want to clinch him up, put him up against the cage, take out that distance completely. Right, make it a dirty fight, and unfortunately for RDA, it's the fight doesn't start off that way. After they break, it doesn't start off that way. So Fiziev's still going to have some pockets and moments where he can sneak in some striking, and so
dude, that jumping knee, they must have seen something in RDA's in his style that jumping knee was there because he landed it 3 or 4 times.
And so this is the crazy thing, right? Like RDA's, or not RDA, Rafael Fiziev, just his fight IQ. The other Rafael.
Yeah.
And he's mixing in his strikes so well. He has RDA guessing on what's going to come next. And even though he landed that knee 3 times, that setup for the left hook, he fakes the jumping knee, he fakes the right, and then comes in with a left hook right on the chin, man.
Yeah, and it kept landing.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. Dude, and not only that, but something that really, really impressed me is obviously the threat of the takedowns there. And clearly, Fiziev, you have to react to it because he shot 16 times. So you have to be ready for it. And even like a lot of guys, I think, would be frozen and worry about the takedown defense so much that they weren't getting their own stuff off. But he was still landing, and he was doing this thing where he would land his combos and then scoot back out. It's not like a traditional angling out that we normally see from him. He would kind of scoop back out with his hips out first, almost anticipating as soon as I commit to this combo, he's going to shoot on me, so I have to be there. And he was still having success. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that consistently through a fight.
At least against somebody that with the grappling experience and the expertise of an RDA.
Yeah, but I'm saying even when RDA wasn't shooting. Because normally it's all right, I'm going to commit with my hands. I know he's going to duck under. So he would scoot back out. But RDA wouldn't shoot because he'd be stuck recovering or try to land his own shots. But he did that a few times where I was like, I've never seen anybody do this. Usually it's I'm either overcommitting and I'm going to get taken down, or luckily he didn't shoot. But he was prepared to exit his combos with a sprawl. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Really interesting to see.
We all know that RDA has fantastic jiu-jitsu. Right? Yeah. But the reason that he's been able to stay top 10 for so long is because he's a very well-rounded fighter, man. He's not
very well-rounded.
In Maya, where he's super good at jiu-jitsu. His wrestling takedowns are really good. His clinch work is really good. His striking is money. He's a very well-rounded fighder. So this is a very impressive win for Fiziev. He's calling out. He said, give me a top 5 fighter now. Which,
Gaethje.
I'm not mad at. I want to see
it. Dude, I know Gaethje and Poirier just had that little scuffle, but I'm tired of that top 5 just staying the top 5 and they're all just fighting each other rather than anybody down. Gaethje versus Fiziev is the move. I want to see that.
That'd be a fantastic fight. But props to Rafael Fiziev. And what do you do with Rafael Dos Anjos?
Got to fight down, man. At lightweight, he was number 7. You got to fight outside of the top 10.
Ooh, you're pushing him outside of the top 10, huh?
You have in this division. You have to. There's 1 through 20 is insane. Those guys need. You can't sit on a ranking in this division, in my opinion. Gamrot just won. Maybe he fights Jalen Turner or sorry, you can.
I know he's been asking for that Conor McGregor fight for a long time.
Yeah, they were supposed to fight a long time ago. And then we got the biggest, coolest upset I've ever seen.
I think that's where we got the red panty night line from, right? From
was it
Conor
that
McGregor?
or? Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
That's when we got That's also when we got the Nate beatdown.
Yeah, that is that. But yeah,
thanks RDA.
RDA. I still think that he has a chance against a lot of these top 10 opponents.
I mean, he was very close. If he didn't get finished in the 5th round, the scorecards, what were they? Derek clearly had it even going into the 5th. Sal Diamato had RDA winning the 4th, but that's it. And Camijo had same thing. So he would have needed a finish in that 5th round, but it's crazy, man. If you looked at the end of the 4th, you would think, oh, man, Fiziev is totally gassed. He just got held down for the first time in the fight. RDA is going to swarm on him this next round. But then the 5th started, and Fiziev was on his toes again. He's moving, he's fainting, and I was like, oh, shit. Like, I wonder if he just accepted the takedown and just wasn't really...
Conserved energy.
Yeah. And
I mean, he probably felt like he was up on the scorecards and thought, you know what, why expel a bunch of energy right now?
Yeah, I had him with the first 3. Also, I thought Mark Smith probably could have done some more separation against the fence. There was a few times where it was like, all right, maybe don't give 3 warnings for separation on the fence.
Were you fine with stoppage?
Live, I wasn't. I was like, what are we doing here? We just watched Mullarkey versus Johnson, where they both got dropped in round 1 and took more shots than this. But on the replay, it looked like the follow-up shot that RDA took when he was on his back was pretty bad. I'm okay with, and he, like, after the fact when the fight was over, it like took him a while to even like kind of register what was happening. So I thought it was a fine stoppage. Live, I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
I hit twice.
Yeah, no. And Rich, if you could put that last picture back up from that fight, exact same thought that you had at first. I was like, what's going on? Early stoppage. But then there's this natural human tendency, right? Where when you get rocked and your hands go straight up like that, he's no longer with the tight guard up against his head, and like trying to avoid shots. Like your hands just go up saying, oh God, please no more. His head whips back. And I think after I saw the slow motion replay, I was like, okay, you know what? That's Mark Smith was right on top of it, man. Right on top
right there.
He was ready to go. So
I think
good job, Mr. Smith.
Good job, Mr. Smith. Let's do some separations more, though. Hey, we focus on the good things, but also constructive criticism. You know what I mean?
Why not? Why not?
Why you always strive to be better?
Always, dude.
Yeah.
Always. Ready to go on to the co-main event?
I guess.
Let's do it. All right. So we have Borralho versus Petrosyan in the co-main event, fighting at middleweight. Borralho now climbing to 12-1 after this one. Petrosyan falling to 7-2.
Both contender series guys.
Yes, and the thing that you saw with the thing that you saw with Fiziev, with the sprawling and the urgency around avoiding the takedown. Imagine the exact opposite.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what you got from Petrosyan. So Borralho, look, very strong guy, fast, right? But
grappler.
But he telegraphed his shots.
Yeah,
quite a bit, and he would shoot from far away. And Petrosyan just seemed to accept it and thought like, hey,
just say okay.
Once you clasp your hands behind my waist, I will then try to see what I could do to avoid the takedown. Very reactive versus proactive. And the next picture pretty much shows you what the entire fight was like. There it is, which is Borralho taking Petrosyan's back and trying to submit him. And Petrosyan, hey, he did a pretty good job of avoiding the rear naked choke.
Yeah. Not a lot of threats.
Yeah.
I mean, this. Yeah, that was it. We talked about last week when we did the preview for this card. We're like, it's tough when the co-main event is two guys. One guy, he has one fight in the UFC. The both guys coming off a Contender Series, and they put him in the co-main. It tells you a little bit about the card itself. I was not very excited.
You also had Jamie Mullarkey versus Michael Johnson on the exact
Well,
same card.
I know. I mean, there's definitely good fights and stuff, but like, I don't see how this was the co-main. It's just kind of crazy. No disrespect to these guys, but like
no
matchup
disrespect.
is not.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, why wouldn't you want to put Mullarkey versus Johnson in the co-main?
I think they're not. I was gonna say they're not big enough names, but like, just anybody who doesn't watch this.
Borralho versus Petrosyan.
Yeah. It's probably the push, right? The UFC probably wants to push these guys a little bit more. They see Michael Johnson towards the end of his career. Mullarkey hasn't had a ton of success, but clearly he's been in exciting fights every single time he fights. I don't know. It's kind of bad. This fight it happened. It was a fight. It was a fight.
All right. So again, Borralho won that one. Before that one, though.
Yes, he did.
Before that one, though, we had Said Nurmagomedov versus Silva de Andrade. Now,
this should have been co-main.
This was a really good fight. Now, when you see the last name, Nurmagomedov, what do you expect?
Yeah, you expect the wrestling, right?
You expect the wrestling. Like, everybody sees Nurmagomedov, and anybody that doesn't pay attention to the sport on a regular basis or just tunes in for the main events. Even they know Nurmagomedov. Hey, that's probably a wrestler. Apparently, there's more Nurmagomedovs outside of that family. It's just not just them. But man, surgical striker with this guy. The question mark.
Yeah, kicks, that's a good way to say it.
He had this beautiful move where he goes oblique kick, and before the leg even comes back down, the high kick. And I was like,
yeah, that was incredible.
God. Amazing striker, man. And the dexterity is something else that I was very impressed with. There's a point where Andrade is coming in and he puts his head down on Nurmagomedov's chest.
Yeah.
And he probably thought he was safe. Nurmagomedov's like, no. Knee. While his forehead is like right underneath his neck. And you could tell he really didn't expect that. But dude, I was so impressed with Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, I mean the constant stance switching, and then like in different stances, there's a lot of guys where it's like, all right, like Wonder Boy, it's like, okay, when he goes southpaw, just watch the lead leg. That's all you really have to worry about. He's going to throw his side kicks, he's going to throw his hook kicks, all that stuff. Then when he switches stances, get ready for the spin. That's when he'll spin. But then you have Nurmagomedov where it's like he'll spin from both sides. He's throwing lead leg attacks from both sides. The left body kick was more frequent than the right for sure, but I mean, fully dangerous no matter what stance he's in. It's not like you have to.
This picture is the end of a question mark kick.
Yeah, exactly. And man, when he threw that oblique kick to the high kick off the same leg, I mean, that I was kind of blown away. It didn't have much like power behind it, but like, I mean, he's so good at keeping you outside of your range because of it. You know, it doesn't have to knock you out. But it's so effective. And credit to Silva de Andrade, because the dude's a tank and he brought it. I thought I didn't think it should be a 30-27. I think, Mike Bell gave it a 30-27. I had Andrade winning around, but yeah, this also had a moment where it was maybe a minute where Said is on his back and Silva de Andrade is standing over him, and Said is winning the fight.
Oh, he was winning. Up kicks?
Up kicks to kicking him to the legs, the body, the head. Like, he was winning.
Yeah. He caught him with some heavy shots, man.
And Herb Dean was like, come on, we got to work. And I'm like, bro, dude's winning right now. He's winning a fight. Like, that was crazy to watch. Rarely do you see an extended moment. Like, usually it's like, oh, he got the better of the exchange off his back, maybe with a couple up kicks, and then he ended up on him. But not this one. That's one thing. One criticism, though, is for sure set up the spinning attacks with your hands.
Yep.
The spinning kicks, all good. But spamming spinning back fist and spinning back elbow, you got to set it up.
And he was telegraphing it a little bit because he wasn't setting it up. So Silva de Andrade was just waiting, and then he'd take his back as soon as he would start. That might work against Petrosyan Nurmagomedov because even if he telegraphs stuff, he won't
Yeah.
try to defend. But against Silva Andrade, he was ready for those. He was waiting. Now
The takedown was nasty.
I'm glad that you called out the oblique kick to the high kick because I was super excited when I saw that, like just nerding out. I was like, oh my God. And like, that Chris Pratt meme where he just like his mouth opens up wide and just looks over. Like I did that yesterday when I saw that, and Mindy's on TikTok, so she did. And I was just like, damn, like watching fights with the bullies, this would be really awesome because we would be like, oh shit. Oh man, it's all good though. I still enjoyed the kick.
I still enjoyed the kick. It was a beautiful kick. Beautiful kicks.
It was.
Yes. And that takedown from Silva Andrade was nasty. I mean, he clasped his hands, picked him up, and dumped him. Couldn't do much with it after that, but nasty takedown. Silva Andrade, this should have been the co-main. I don't understand how this was not the co-main. Going into it was like, this is clearly one of the best matchups on the card. And it delivered.
And Nurmagomedov from Dagestan as well. I guess he used to train with Habib and a few other of the Nurmagomedov family members.
He's like, I don't like this wrestling shit.
Yes, but I was going to say, do you think he ever dealt with wrestlers in practice? Do you think he grew up dealing with wrestlers? So
I know.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see how far this guy can go.
Yeah, me too. If you look at like the general consensus after this fight, it's a lot of people kind of jumping off the hype train, which is kind of weird to me. I thought it was a fantastic performance. And I think Silva Andrade is so good, man. I mean, that guy brings it in he's so hard to put away. And
he was 28-4 before this fight.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Guy's pretty good.
It's a pretty good record.
It's
a pretty good record.
Right. I agree with you. This probably should have been the co-main event. Lesson learned. For the
Lesson learned.
Maybe not. We'll see.
I don't think they care on these Apex cards. I think they just kind of fill it up. Let's roll.
Yeah.
Just trying to hit that quota.
Before that, your boy, the Vanilla Gorilla, Chase Sherman versus Jared Vanderaa.
It was a great fight.
It was.
I remember when.
I'm not gonna lie. I was excited for this fight.
Me too. I was excited for it too. Sloppy heavyweight fights are fun. Like unranked heavyweight fights are fun sometimes. Chase Sherman fighting for his job, probably, right? He's been cut like 3 times.
He's been fighting for his job for the last 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, and dude, there's something good about just a sloppy heavyweight brawl, just swinging and banging. And I mean, this was it. I remember you texted me, like, do I need to go back and watch any fights? And I was like, I'm not sure yet. I'm on this fight. I was on this fight when you texted me that. And I was like, maybe like 2 minutes into round 1. And I was like, it's okay so far, something like that. And then by the end of it, I was like, no, definitely go back and watch that. That was a great fight.
Dude, you know what? Sherman had some good head movement sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
And he seemed really light on his feet.
Feeling himself a little bit.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, man. He was having fun in there.
Looked like Canelo out there. Just head movement.
And then you had Vanderaa, who he seemed a little more stiff. Just moving forward. Stiff jab too, heavy right hand. But Sherman, man, like I was saying, he looked like he was having fun with the exchanges. But you could also tell that he felt like, hey, when I want to get away from these shots, I can.
Yeah. And what's cool is, when do you see an unranked heavyweight fight with the most strikes landed for the whole card? And that's what we got. We had Fiziev versus RDA, and these guys outstruck them both.
Dude, I mean, hey, Sherman looked good.
He looked good until this moment.
Solid.
This moment was a very, like, hey, man, be careful because you should never be in this position. This picture should not exist.
What a great shot, man. What a great shot.
I know.
That. That's great. That's a great picture, though. It should not exist, but it's a great picture.
Yeah, it's a great picture. But you should never find yourself in that position. But he just got a little careless, I think, coming in with the combos, because he really will let the hands go. He's got pretty good hand speed for a heavyweight, because he doesn't really sit down on all his punches.
And he looked in fantastic shape.
He looked good. Right. And going into the third, I had it 1-1. And going into the third, I was like, man, Sherman looks like he's slowed down considerably. And he was slower in the first half of that round. And I think he rope-a-doped him.
I'm pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he wanted Vanderaa to kind of feel himself a little bit, punch himself out a little bit, and then turn it on. Because, dude, when he turned it on, that didn't look like a heavyweight finish. That looked like a flyweight finish. When you have someone up against the cage and you're just like, bah, 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 and they're just like, I don't know what to do. That doesn't happen at heavyweight. That never happens at heavyweight.
It was such a fun fight.
Yeah, it was a very good fight. Very good
Fun
fight.
That's all I got though.
Yeah, sometimes unranked heavyweight fights, they're sloppy. They might not be the most technical. It might not be like you're not watching the elite of the elite, maybe, but it's fucking entertaining.
Very true. Now,
This should have been
entertaining fights. Talking about it really should have. Talking about entertaining fights, though. We had Jamie Mullarkey versus Michael Johnson.
This was I knew going into this was going to be fight of the night, and
we talked about it. We called it out last week.
And here comes your boy, a little salty on this one.
Salty Will?
It may or may not be because I picked Michael Johnson in this fight. But Michael Johnson, rounds 1 and 3. I don't understand how you don't give him those 2 rounds. It's crazy to me. Great fight.
Hey,
fight of the night.
I picked Mullarkey, so I'm coming from another angle, Will. Hey, he dropped Michael Johnson that first round too.
But whose knockdown was worse?
I don't know.
I don't know. You'd have to ask them.
You'd have to ask the judges who they thought.
They clearly thought Mullarkey.
Now, I will say this, though. Recency bias, the last knockdown on that first round was from Mullarkey.
That's true.
So the round ended with the last thought of Mullarkey clipping Johnson, dropping him, right? And Johnson being a little wobbly. Now, I think that they both did a great job with recovery that first round.
Yeah, which is more impressive for Johnson at this point in his career. Because we've seen him get finished.
Yeah.
He looks great. His hand speed. His hand speed is insane.
Great. And the power's still there.
His career, he has looked fantastic. He's one of those guys that he looks so good until all of a sudden he loses. You know what I mean? Like so many times he has somebody hurt and he's going for the finish, they survive, and then all of a sudden he gets clipped or subbed. And it's like, fuck, man, he is so good.
Look,
and sometimes the outcome doesn't show it. No, it's not.
It's not the best. But he's fought Clay Guida, Thiago Moises.
He beat Dustin Poirier,
Darren Elkins, Justin Gaethje, Habib Nurmagomedov, Dustin Poirier. Oh, dude, he beat the GOAT, Artem Lobov.
Yeah.
Edson Barbosa. Dude, the who's who, man. Joe Lozon.
I mean, the guy has wins over Dustin Poirier and Tony Ferguson. Yeah.
Get out of here. This guy's been fighting forever at such a high level, man. And for him to still have this hand speed, still have
it's crazy, man.
And, for a while there, the question was like, does he want to continue doing this? Like after the Gaethje fight, and everything. He looked really good in his last fight, though. And he said that fire was lit again. And that's why he came back against Alan Patrick. But he looked like he still has that fire in him against Jamie Mullarkey, man.
Dude, they were cracking each other. He was smiling. Shout out Cayman Combat Club. Said this was a crazy fight, man. I loved it. Yeah, this was by far.
Combat Club. I like that. I'm going to have to check out that page later.
Yeah. This was definitely fight of the night. But, yeah, that first round, I thought Johnson, the strikes were damn near even. More leg kicks for Mullarkey, more body shots for Johnson. How does that weigh? That's personal opinion, right? But dude, the Johnson knockdown was like a 4-punch combo, and that uppercut that he snuck in an angle that you never see someone get hit. And he dropped hard. So that's my bias. Second round, all Mullarkey, right? Mullarkey looked fantastic in that second round. He was landing that switch high kick. He would switch stances to throw the high kick, and I don't know how Johnson was just eating him. He got head kicked like 3 or 4 times where it was just flush, and he was just kind of like, "Oh, okay." And then we're back, and then the third round was all Michael Johnson. What a fucking fight! Where round 3 goes to one guy, 2 goes to the other one, and then round 1 they both dropped each other. Where you're just like, "What a fucking fight, man!"
Yeah, I mean, not just that, but again, I'm pointing out the recovery because I'm trying to think of a few other lightweights that might be able to take those shots and recover as quickly as they did.
Yeah.
People take shots and recover.
100%.
Dude, Mullarkey, like if you would have tuned in right after that, you would have been like, oh, nothing happened to this guy. Same thing with Michael Johnson. We would have tuned in the beginning of the second round. You'd been like, oh, okay, cool. These guys are fresh.
They had a first round already. Yeah. I wonder what happened.
Dude,
probably feeling out process.
And I know in hindsight, this probably should have been the co-main event too. You know what? But even then, last week when we were previewing this week, we said this is going to be a banger.
Yeah,
this is going to be a banger. So,
yeah, 100%. And I hope I don't think they will, but I hope I don't know what contract Michael Johnson's on, but I hope he still sticks around because the guy is always entertaining, win or lose. And Mullarkey,
20-18 right now. Yeah,
I think he's 20-18. Not the best record. Mullarkey gets a win.
If you were to get a win for having an exciting fight, he'd be 38-0.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, except for that Khabib fight.
Let's not talk about that one. Hey, but even that was exciting.
It was exciting because Khabib talking shit while smashing him.
Yes, it was because it was a huge eye opener for a lot of fans out there. Where we're like, okay, we know Khabib, and people would have liked for him to fight harder competition from the very beginning, and he had that slow rise, which is why he didn't have that many title defenses because he did have a slow rise getting there. And Michael Johnson was one of those leaps for Khabib, one of his first leaps in competition, where after watching that fight, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This Khabib guy is no joke. Because Michael Johnson's a very formidable opponent. And he was smashing and talking to him.
Yeah.
You must quit.
Yeah,
I need
it's
to
my
be
time.
champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also
that's a terrible impression too.
Yeah. Well, it's the first fight where Joe Rogan super hyped a moment out of proportion where everyone's like, yeah, but all of Khabib's next fights like, yeah, but Michael Johnson hurt him. It's like, no, Michael Johnson did not hurt him. He landed a combo.
He caught him once flush.
But Joe made it seem like he was wobbly and rocked, but Khabib kind of always had that head bobbing thing.
Ooh.
Yeah, Bobby Green versus Michael Johnson. They fought before, right? Have they not fought before?
They? I don't know.
Maybe not.
I mean, at 20-18, I feel like Michael Johnson's fought the entire roster at lightweight already.
Yeah, they have not.
I don't see it.
Yeah, they have not. That's a great fight. I think
fun fight.
Bobby Green was supposed to just fight, and he just pulled out, right? Forgot who he was supposed to fight recently. But yeah, maybe you make that fight. The only problem with that, though, is Bobby's right outside the top 15 right now, so I don't know if he takes that fight. But it would be fantastic.
I'm going to raise my hand on this one and say, as fun as that fight sounds like, I could picture Bobby Green coming in with his hands low, and then Michael Johnson throwing combos and Bobby Green rolling with the punches and responding with a couple, shots of him. It would be such a fun fight. But I don't want either of those guys to lose. So let's not, can we give Michael Johnson
a contender series person?
Yeah,
someone coming right off the contender series
to lose to Bobby Green, and then he says, "You know what? Fuck this, I'm retiring." And then I don't want Bobby Green to lose to Michael Johnson, but man, he was at the cusp of breaking into the top 15, and now he's not. Too much at stake.
Too much at
stake with that fight for fans, not for
me. But I would love to watch.
But I would love to watch it.
Yeah.
Oh man, the struggles of being an MMA.
What a fight though! Mullarkey brings it every single time, man. At some point,
freaking time.
This dude is a fucking dog, and that dude needs to get some respect. I think he has it from a lot of fans and stuff, but it doesn't seem like the UFC really knows what they have with him for some reason.
Look, he's lost to Jalen Turner. We see what's going on with Jalen Turner right now. You know what I mean?
He was incredible.
But he's beat Devontae Smith, Kama Worthy, Michael Johnson. Dude, let's get him somebody up there.
Yeah, and maybe let's not give him a guy who's also gonna beat his brains out too. The dude doesn't need to be in a war every single fight. We know that doesn't last long.
His post-fight interview though, he's like, it's just so much fun. It's just so much fun. Oh man, he's always gonna be an exciting fight. It's just in his DNA. He's one of those guys that even if you put him up against a wrestler, he's gonna get cracked once and he's gonna start going wild. Yeah,
dude, the last 15 seconds of this fight, where amazing. I thought for sure Mullarkey's jaw was broken or something because his jaw was hanging and it was just covered in blood, and they're just swinging. Michael
just
Johnson
dangling around.
Yeah, and Michael Johnson goes to war too real quick, and I was like, no, don't do that because you're up right now. You don't need a
Caught him
finish.
clean. He caught
Yeah,
him
I know.
clean in that the last like 5 seconds.
He did. I mean, dude, the last 2 minutes of this fight, Michael Johnson was touching him up with the jab, with the two behind it. I mean, he looked so good, but wasn't enough.
Wasn't enough, he says. It was enough for
for
us
me.
fans.
For me, yes.
All right, we'll move on to the next one. That was a very exciting fight, though. The next one, Cody Brundage versus Tresean Gore. Tresean Gore is coming off of Tough, right?
Yeah, and we skipped the Armen Zahabi versus Turcios fight because it was awful, and
But
so
then
that was the other
of a
tough
tongue
winner.
punch right now. A little bit of a
Yeah,
tongue punch.
yeah,
Your boy
exactly.
has to catch the soccer games for the kids,
Yeah,
Soccer
but
dad. Soccer dad.
soccer dad. But yeah, Tresean Gore, also Ultimate Fighter. He was supposed to fight in the finale, but couldn't make it. But so here he is, and he's fighting Cody Brundage, and
So here he is.
I think it's just too much, man. It's too much for Tresean Gore because the talent is there for sure, but I don't think this is one of those situations where it's like, do you really want to develop your career already in the UFC? I don't think that's the best move. I mean, he goes to 3-2 now. He's had 4 professional fights at this point.
Yeah, that's a little too much, man.
That's a lot, man.
Take a book out of the Chase Hooper, prep
Of what not to do.
Yes.
But I mean, the raw talent is there for sure. But
I don't know.
There's just some things.
I picked Gore.
I did too because that power is fucking crazy. And Brundage, I haven't been too impressed with, to be honest. I thought the power might just overwhelm him. But no, Brundage looked good, did what he needed to do, and he caught him off a lazy leg kick. And those are the types of things that happen, like when you don't have the experience.
Well, look at shot here too. This is a pretty cool shot where you have Brundage in full mount on Tresean Gore. Gore has no guard whatsoever because his arms seem to be down on the mat. Yeah, he's out, and he's about to land another shot. This might have been Beltran. By the way, if Beltran would have been reffing the RDA fight, they'd probably still be fighting right now. As we see, I would be like, oh my God, longest fight in UFC history. For some reason, they decided to give him a 15th round,
Yeah, or it would have been over way sooner because he would have separated them a bunch of times. Mike Beltran is a man of action.
Dude, I love that guy.
I know.
Oh, man. All right. You want to move on to the next fight we're going to cover?
Yeah, not much on that one. Are we talking?
It was a quick fight.
Are we talking Antonina, or are we skipping that one?
We're skipping that one, going to Onama versus Armfield. Antonina's beautiful,
fantastic fight.
I love watching her fight. But
yeah,
we'll skip it.
There's weird stuff in that family. Yeah, Onama versus Armfield.
We'll not discuss that at this moment.
No, it's a family show. And Onama versus Armfield, though, is awesome. This is another one that we called out. Actually,
James Krause.
I think we called out the previous matchup. It was Onama versus was it Lingo? Yes, Onama versus Lingo.
Yeah.
Because Armfield took this fight on like 5 days' notice.
You got a call on Tuesday.
Yeah, and they fought before. Someone posted there's a video of their amateur fight. They both fought before they were pro. Someone posted it when he signed the contract, and it was like, oh, this could be cool. A little history here.
It all came back full circle. Look at that.
Yeah, and this was a fantastic fight. Fantastic.
It was a really good fight.
For someone making their UFC debut on 5 days' notice, Armfield looked very good. I want to watch him fight again.
Armfield had the timing down. Onama had the speed, but Armfield had timing because he's not the fastest guy in the world, but he was cracking them at the perfect time. Now, I yelled out the James Krause earlier.
Yeah.
Because he did such a fantastic job in the corner with
did.
Onama. And he called him out. He said, you are being lazy right now. Don't be lazy. The very next round, he goes out there, and guess what? He's not. He's not lazy.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see the sense of urgency changed.
Way more urgency, man. So, I mean, the James Krause, knowing his fighter right now, knowing what he can get out of him, what he should be getting out of him, and calling that shit out. I don't care. These cameras are here. I'm going to call you out for being lazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. As long as you're not saying the same stuff that Tony Kelly says.
Well, that's a different. We're a family show.
We're a family show.
That's family show.
Yeah. But the first round was kind of a little banger. Like you said, Onama had the hand speed, but he was kind of throwing a little bit looping. where Armfield was just timing it and cracking him before he could land. Kind of what this picture shows right here. And at the end of the first round, I mean, they kind of went to war a little bit. And at the end of the first round, they both like dabbed each other, and they were like smiling and shit. They're like, that was sick. And then, which is cool, man. I thought it was so cool. And then the start of the second round, kind of both the same thing. They're both looking at each other, smiling, nodding, and they're like, all right, let's do this. And it was just cool. It was a cool fight to watch. And Onama is very talented. He's got something special, you know.
You could tell though that he's still a little raw.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, you can see it though. You can see what's there. Can see it. And I hope they don't rush him or anything like that. I don't think they are. I think because the power's there, and the experience and things like that. That's what's being built right now, and that's exactly why it's so like helpful to have someone like the James Krause call that shit out, because that will iron out those things. And man, when he got that submission, it was like he set it up and then just like completely cleared the hips and stepped out. And he was almost, before he was in this position, he was almost in like a regular side control position on his knees. And they were like, press your hips. And he's like, oh yeah. And he throws his legs out, presses his hips on the mat. And that's how you get the real pressure, right? Because before it looked like he was on his knees trying to drive the pressure down with the shoulder. Yeah. But it's like, no, you need to sprawl out and like pull the weight down. It's not a point, like you're not pressing on a point. And he got it, and fantastic work from Beltran. He was like, show me you're in. Like, show me you're in this. Like, and you can see him go, oh yeah, we're good. And he's like, he just keeps repeating, like, keep showing me you're in this, because like I can see the choke. Like, you're clearly getting choked. And then like eventually it kind of just falls to the side, and he's like, all right, that's enough. And then Armfield, perfect time. Armfield sits up, looks at Beltran, smiles at him. He said something like, "Thanks for give me the opportunity," or something like that. And they're both smiling at each other, laughing and shit. And I'm like, damn, that's fucking sick, dude.
You could tell he was out though, because when he came to, Onama had just started standing up, and did you see what he did?
No,
he reached for him with his right hand.
I missed it.
Like the arm that was stuck.
Yeah,
he like reached for him, and then he's like, "Oh!" And that's when he sits up, and he's like, has a smile on his face.
What a realization, man! But that tells you everything about the guy. If the fact that his initial reaction is to smile after the realization is pretty cool, because
Garrett Armfield, I'm a fan.
I'm a fan, man. I want to see him fight again, because he looked good. That first round was a very good round, and I was like, ooh. Did you give him the first round?
Honestly, I wasn't scoring it. Well, I was just enjoying the fight.
No,
I was enjoying Armfield's debut.
Yeah, me too. I was enjoying the moment just like him.
Dude, seriously, he was though, and I love it.
Yeah,
absolutely love it.
Yeah, very cool fight.
All right, we'll move on to the last fight we're going to cover. I think it's Kakhramonov versus Lawrence.
Yeah, I had Lawrence going into this because he's been such an aggressive wrestler. And he puts on a pace that's hard to compete against. And Kakhramonov said, "I do the same thing, and I'm going to do it better." This dude is relentless.
Kakhramonov, man. I picked Kakhramonov going into this, even though he wasn't the favorite, because his last name ends in Ov.
When I saw that he picked him, I was like, I know that's why he picked him.
Sometimes we overthink things, Will. You know what I mean? And I saw that last
my picks last night.
And I said, look, they're both going to try to grapple, but this guy's last name ends in Ov. You know, my guy went through some shit as a kid to get here. You know what I mean? So I picked him, and my pick was legit. Came through. Ronnie Lawrence, man, he seems super hyped to be in there.
Yeah.
Maybe a little too hyped. You know, maybe he wanted to prove a
point. So far, he's been a killer, you know? So I think he was kind of just like, I am that killer.
Yeah.
You know?
And Kakhramonov was like, I kill killers. You know? And like, whether it was the hip toss, dude, beautiful hip tosses. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look at that.
Yeah, I mean, the whole fight, I think Lawrence got one takedown, but then was immediately right back up, and then Kakhramonov was on another takedown. Huey Hoopin says, you already talked about Ricky Turcios. We skipped it for time, I'll just talk about it real quick. Might as well,
Yeah.
right? Turcios is a guy. Oh, thanks, Rich. Yeah, I'm a fan. I was more of a fan before this fight, if I'm being honest. But I like the antics. I like the weird kind of Diego Sanchez vibes. The dude's kind of out there. Real martial arts type guy. He's screaming and shit as he's throwing like feints. And it was just, I thought Ayman Zahabi, I thought he had a fantastic game plan of just making sure that Turcios was coming to him, because if you watch the tough finale with Turcios, which was fucking incredible, fantastic fight, the guy goes into the pocket and just swings and he goes hard, and that's where he has success. But Ayman was like, I'm not going to give you that. I'm just going to keep circling away, force you to come to me. And you could tell Ricky was kind of just stuck and didn't really know what to do. He's stomping his feet in the middle of the cage, being weird, right? Doing his thing. And Ayman just never gave into it. Just fought his game plan. Kind of made Turcios look like he didn't belong in there. And it's going to be very interesting to see what he does next. Because going into this, I was pretty high on him, honestly. That the tough finale was, I loved that fight. It was a very good fight. But this kind of shows, like, okay, you need to be able to adapt to a guy who's not just going to come forward and meet you in the center. You have to be able to adapt. Yeah, that's how I saw that fight going.
There we go. And I think that's all the fights that we're going to cover. Huey Hoopin, thank you for coming through. I hope both
what did you think of
that club and Huey Hoopin are following us already.
Yeah, what did you think about the Turcios fight? If you didn't leave already, as I ranted about it.
As you ranted, Huey Hoopin probably didn't like what you had to say, and he was like, "You know what? Let me just log off right now."
I know.
But yeah,
my boy,
Mr. Hoopin, if you can, just in the comments there, just let us know what you thought of the fight. For now, though, let's go into the moment of silence, Will, for the fights we lost.
Yeah, moment of silence. Let's see, Jamie Pickett versus Dennis Chulian. That got canceled. Okay, yeah, Huey Hoopin, 100%. 30 out of 205 strikes is crazy, and it is crazy.
A little lopsided, some would say.
I mean, he just he was throwing so much, and I mean, I don't think that might be the worst striking accuracy I've ever seen. I think it was like 10%. What is that? That's like a little bit over 10%. 30 out of 205 strikes thrown.
Math.
Yeah. That wasn't Turcios landing 30, because you didn't catch this fight, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that wasn't Turcios landing 30 and Zahabi landing 205. It was
that's closer to 15% striking if my math is correct.
If my math is correct. But yeah,
I carried the 9.
Yeah, that's Ricky throwing 205 but only landing 30.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just nowhere near him the whole time. But you live and you learn. It's an experience moment, growth moment, hopefully. But yeah, we had Jamie Pickett pulled out of this one. Austin Lingo pulled out of his fight against Onama. And that's how Armfield got his call. Eubanks versus...
Which I'm glad he did.
Yeah, much better. I would have rather had seen that fight than whatever Lingo would have done. No disrespect. But Eubanks versus Morose would have been cool. I guess they rescheduled it. Let's see. Jamie Pickett versus Abdul Razak Al Hassan would have been very cool. Would have been better than what Pickett ended up rescheduling. Calvillo versus Nina Nunes got pulled the morning of.
Get it out of here.
Get it out, yeah. I was like, man, Ramiro's. When I saw the news, I was like, just picturing you with like a voodoo doll, like of the fight, like making sure this fight didn't happen. Yeah. But the big one was Cody Garbrandt versus Hani Yahya. Would have been a very fun fight. Nice step down for Cody Garbrandt.
Yes,
but not too far, right? Hani Yahya is fun to watch.
Absolutely right. Hani Yahya, fantastic grappler. One of the best names, by the way, with Hani Yahya.
Fantastic.
But I think it's this crossing or the crossroads for Cody Garbrandt.
100%.
He goes down to 125. He comes back up to 135. Cody Garbrandt's trying to find himself again at this point in his career. So for me, this was a make or break for Cody Garbrandt on this one.
Yeah. Also, probably would have been co-main.
Should have been co-main.
Yeah.
Should have been co-main.
Even this canceled fight would have been is a better co-main than what we got.
All right, man. Now we have bonuses. Let's talk about some monies.
Yeah, monies. Fiziev gets a $50,000 bonus for his performance of the night, knocking out RDA in the 5th round. Very good 5th round knockout. It's difficult to do. Chase Sherman, not only does he keep his job, but he gets an extra $50K. Very cool. Yeah, the Shermanator. And Michael Johnson and Jamie Mullarkey both got 50 grand for the fight of the night, as they deserved it. Yeah,
as they should.
Yeah, very good. I mean,
look right here, the order that you see this in. This should have been main event, co-main event.
I know.
The Coco
featured bout
main event. Yeah, no, Coco main event.
Coco main.
Yeah,
Coco main. True though. This is. I mean, going into it, these are the 3 fights we were most excited for, really.
And I want to give a shout out to Tapology because that's where we got the last couple.
So good. Tapology is so good.
Money.
Yeah, that's it for this one. Speaking of Tapology, you can also use it to preview the next card.
Dude, nice segue.
Not sponsored by Tapology, but a very good website. Not sponsored by anybody, but maybe soon.
Yeah.
This one is, where is this happening? It's in New York because it starts at 8 a.m. my time. So that's fun.
Oh, that's perfect, man. That means it starts at 10 a.m. over here, which I love.
And it's a very good card.
Well,
we got the main event, Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez. Probably title shot implications, most likely. I think if Yair wins, you have to give him a title shot. I know Volkanovski is out because he broke his thumb in the 2nd round of that Max Holloway fight, which is makes it even more incredible. But I think if Yair wins, you got to give him the shot. If Ortega wins, maybe you do like him versus Emmett or some shit. I don't know. But co-main, we got Michelle Watterson, the Karate Hottie, versus Amanda Lemos, who is terrifying.
He is. Give me Lemos.
Terrifying. Yeah, probably, right? And then you got the Leech is back versus Salikov. Very good fight, too. A sneaky banger. Matt Schnell versus Sumadarji. That's a fantastic fight.
Yeah.
I know you hate on Matt Schnell. I know we kind of make fun of him for some reason. But
I don't hate on Matt Schnell. This guy is top 15 in the UFC. You know how hard it is to break into the top 15 in the UFC?
I know. It's hard.
It's very difficult. For me, I just remember his MTV days. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to break away from that.
Yeah.
But my guy
is a great fight.
The top 15 from MTV to top 15 in the
UFC.
You know? Why not?
But,
good for you, dude.
But Sumadarsh is also terrifying.
And not in MTV. Never was in MTV.
Never was.
Focus on fighting.
Yeah. Very good guy, though. Shane Burgos versus Charles Jourdain is...
This is the one.
That's probably fight of the night. That's my pick for fight of the night.
Whoa. Slow down. You got Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez, bro.
I don't think that's... I think that fight's going to be different than most people are thinking.
You think so?
I think so. And I'm saying that as a very big Brian Ortega fan. I don't think he has anything for Yair. I don't think it's going to be back and forth enough to be fight of the night.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, we got Lauren Murphy versus Miesha Tate.
I disagree, but it's okay.
Hey, that's what makes the show. But yeah.
Thank God they saved this fight a 3rd time. Oh, I was so scared that they wouldn't.
Lauren Murphy versus Miesha Tate?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's a fight that's going to happen. Put a Haley Soriano is a very good versus Dalcha. That's a great fight. Ricky Simone versus Jack Shore is a fucking sleeper fight. Jack Shore is legit. That guy is going to be top 10.
Dude, Dustin Jacoby?
Yeah, Dustin Jacoby versus Diamond Young. Very good fight. 2 bangers. Bill Aljo versus Herbert Burns. It was supposed to be Bill Aljo versus Billy the Kid Quarantillo, but he had to pull out. And Herbert Burns' opponent pulled out, so they make them fight each other. Great fight. Dwight Grant's on the card. Philip Rowe versus Abu Bakar. Very good card. Very good card. On ABC.
Taking a break from OnlyFans to fight again.
Yeah. But you see the difference here is this last weekend was one of the ESPN events, right? You have to. Yep. They had to make the quota for ESPN. Throw whoever's on
ABC.
there. ABC national broadcast.
Gotta bring it.
Yeah.
Gotta bring it.
Exactly.
Gotta bring it. But this card is stacked with 13 fights.
Yeah.
This looks like it's gonna be money, man.
Very, very good card.
I mean, Ortega versus Yair could be a co-main event in a pay-per-view.
Yeah, 100%. Ricky Simone versus Jack Shore, man. I cannot wait for that fight.
Yeah.
Jack Shore.
I mean,
I'm
they
very
don't
high
have
on Jack Shore.
Borralho here as the co-main event, so that's a little disappointing, but it's okay. Well, that's all I got. Will, you got anything else?
No, I think that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right, well,
Watch
we
some
have
soccer.
want to give a shout out to Huey Hoopin again for joining us.
Yeah.
Really appreciate
Cayman Combat Club. We'll
Cayman
check out that
Combat
Instagram.
Club. Again, we'll definitely check it out. I will be following you, Cayman Combat Club, as soon as we are off this broadcast. But for Cayman Combat Club, Huey Hoopin, and anybody else that tuned in, if you're not subscribed yet, please do us a favor. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell.
Be like Huey Hoopin.
Be like Huey.
Yeah, be like Huey. He subbed, It's a good back and forth. It always makes the show. Huey will be back next week on Sunday Live. Definitely jump in because it makes it a lot more fun when we have some back and forth with commenters.
For sure. And if you don't like seeing our ugly mugs, but you like listening to us talk about fights, you got Spotify, Breaker, Podcast Radio, Public, Google Podcast, Anchor FM. If they broadcast podcasting, like podcasts, where we're probably on there.
Yeah, we're on there.
And it's the same handle everywhere. At Story of the Fight.
Super easy to find.
On social media as well.
Yeah, at Story of the Fight on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch, with nothing on there yet, but we'll get there. But yeah, we're everywhere. At Story of the Fight everywhere.
Still not banned from TikTok.
And reinstated on Reddit. No longer banned on Reddit.
Yeah, there we go. We're doing pretty good.
Doing pretty good.
I've eliminated a lot of the weird fights that I used to post on TikTok that almost got us banned, but we're good. So, but this was a lot of fun. Again, shout out to those that joined us, made it a lot more fun. Shout out to the person who produces this show, Richard Bustos.
Rich the Casual.
Yes. Thank you for joining us for another week of Story of the Fight. Rich still refuses to watch fights, by the way, Will.